Nobody said that when they locked him in there.
Don't let the bed bugs eat you alive.
Ugh.
They determined he had mental health issues, but that he was physically healthy otherwise. But he'd been in there for 3 months, and they discovered him dead. They said the cell was so bad that they had to wear hazmat suits going in there.
Ugh.
Or the cell was covered in grime and insects and all that.
How many times do you have to be bitten to die from bedbug?
And how does
bedbug
nobody hear
bites?
you screaming? Obviously, there's a lot of questions. I don't know.
That's neglect. Like that's beyond.
Well, that's putting it mildly, yeah.
Yeah.
His family lives in Alabama. They didn't even know that he had been incarcerated. And they only found out when they called him to tell him that he had died and eaten by bed bugs. They said that there was an extremely severe infestation of small insects on his body and a severe bed bug infestation in his cell. And that he had all kinds of wounds on his body from picking at his skin.
Oh my God, so gross.
And the photos that the Fulton County Attorney's Office took showed the condition of his cell and him covered in bugs.
I'm suing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how you. I don't know how any city jail is allowed to exist in that condition.
I'm sure
I guess
they're all like that.
Well, no, I think you
No.
probably hear about this stuff a lot more than that. I mean, there's only so many times that a city can get sued before somebody gets their ass kicked. And I mean,
But a lot of these jails, is it prisons that are privately funded or jails?
well, this
that
is
are
a
privately
county
funded?
jail. This Fulton County Jail. This is in Atlanta, so it's not a private. It's a city jail. You know what I mean? It's not prison. He's in the Pokey, downtown Atlanta or whatever. So it's a county jail.
He had to have been knocked out on something, right?
Probably on
Wait,
drugs.
but that's what I
You
thought.
couldn't have been alive. It says eaten alive, but I mean, he couldn't have been conscious.
Well, that's what I'm
They're
thinking. I'm
crawling
like,
in his mouth and stuff.
there's no way that this would happen to you over a course of a couple of months. I don't know.
Because
I
people-
don't know. I don't know. Somebody would have checked on
Was
you,
it when
or
he got
I mean,
fed?
I don't know.
Maybe it was a punishment. Like maybe
A punish.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, I don't know.
they were like hazing him or something. Like we're not about to check on you for 3 days, and you're not about to get any
It was
meals.
3 months. I don't know how much hazing goes on in county jail.
I don't know.
I've never been in there.
Like if you make a problem for me, you'll regret it.
Yeah. But it's been a lot in the public discourse recently about how inhumane solitary confinement is.
Was he in that?
Well, I mean, if you're by
Doesn't
yourself,
sound like you had a roommate.
yeah, I mean, if you had a roommate, your cellie would be screaming about the bed bugs. But
Yeah.
it's not like he was in there by himself.
But then again, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to be in a cell with someone you don't get along with, that you're fighting all the time for whatever is in the cell?
Not
Or would you
again.
rather-
They call that marriage.
Or would you rather be in
Shut up, Mary.
or would you rather be in solitary confinement?
Well, it depends for how long. I mean, they've determined that solitary confinement will drive you mad.
For more
I
than
mean,
what, a week or something like that?
I mean, the UN says that longer than 15 days is torture. Like if it's a war crime, you know. Now everybody laughs and rolls their eyes at that who are, you know, in that business.
Do I get Netflix in there?
No.
Yeah, you get Netflix in county jail. You know how it works. Cuyahoga County Jail right in here on the east side. On the Near
TVs
East
in
Side.
every
Yeah.
single one.
Oh.
Let me get
Every
that
cell.
password, homie.
You get
Yep.
you get Netflix, but it's the new kind, or it's got ads.
Oh, it's the $5 tier.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't spending city money on high-end
HD.
Netflix. Nope.
480p.
No, it's
Suffer.
Buffering.
not 4K, anything.
There's
feel
an
like
episode
watching-
of SVU where Christopher Maloney's character was like he voluntarily went into solitary confinement just to experience it for a weekend, and he loses his mind. He's there for 3 days, but he thinks when he comes out, he's like, "You bastards, you locked me in there for a week. I hate you guys." And they're like, "No, it's been
10 minutes,
yeah.
Elliot Stabler.
It's been 3 days, like we said." And he's like, "Oh, whoa!" It's because they were trying to bring attention to it then.
He just hears voices. Solitary confinement. Voices in the walls.
Hello?
And of course, because it's Christopher Maloney, he's just going to spend his time doing sit-ups.
Well, solitary confinement is different than like a padded room, right? It's just a cell away from everybody else.
Well,
it's a cell.
It's
No,
a
no,
cell.
no. Solitary confinement is
Like the hole.
the whole, like, where you are in. I mean, like,
It's a cell by yourself.
it's a cell by yourself, but there's no window, there's nothing.
No
But
light.
it's not like loony bin movies where they put you in
No.
a padded room.
I don't even know if padded cells are a thing anymore.
Okay, because those I thought were for
That's
people
kind of like
like
old. That's like old timey stuff where they
the
didn't really,
60s.
where they didn't really know anything about mental illness. So they
Yeah.
were drilling holes in people's heads and putting them in straitjackets.
I was like, they don't do straitjackets anymore?
I don't know about that. I don't know, but I don't
It's
think
not very inclusive. They just call them jackets for people.
They don't have those little
That
spit
have
masks
mentally
anymore?
ill.
I don't want to assume
Yeah.
anything about you.
Yeah. How dare you put me in a straitjacket? I'm gay.
You can have an allergic reaction to bedbug bite. Yeah, of course you can. You know, I mean,
That's what happened to me when I thought I had spiders and I
you
had
had
bed
thrush.
bugs.
You had a whole bunch of things.
Well, no, that was before I moved out of the basement. When I was in the basement and I had bed bugs and they were
Gave me-
blistering up and like my whole arm was red and puffy. I gave them to Bill. He gave them to Grandma.
No, I didn't give them to grandma. We took care of it before it got bad.
Yeah, mine was bad.
I feel like, Bill, your whole apartment building would like hate you if you got like bed bugs.
Well, there's people that
You
like,
can get them from like laundromats and stuff.
right, and like there's people that will get bed bugs and like they'll send out alerts if they're on like your side of the building or near you, because I mean it's just that prevalent now that people are getting bed bugs. So I'm very careful about it. Even just on that trip in that cabin, any bug I saw, I was like, what the hell is that? And like, I'm identifying it, making sure it's not, because I cannot stand the idea of having bed bugs. Makes me sick.
I saw a centipede the other day, and I pretty much layered the entire floor with bug spray.
This was at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't. I killed it by like spraying it to death, but then I couldn't get rid of it. Like I was like, maybe I'll get a broom or like something because I can't be near it. I ended up putting a Kool-Aid gallon jug on top of it, so I couldn't look at it. And then I made McDonald's guy get rid of it when he came over.
When my parents first got married, they moved back down to Mobile, Alabama. And my mom told me when I was younger what those conditions were like. She's like, it's so, people in Florida know this too, or people where it's really hot and humid. They have these palmetto bugs in Florida, in the palmetto trees. They're like the size of your fist. And my mom would tell us these stories about how kind of swampy and humid it was where they lived, and they didn't have any money, so they weren't living in a great place. And she said I would open up the silverware drawer, and these bugs called silverfish would all come out.
Ooh, yeah.
Dude, silverfish are nasty.
They're gross. They're practically like translucent kind of, you know, they kind of look like a fish with legs and antenna. And she's like,
Like
she's
minnows crawling around.
Yeah,
Yep.
real gross.
She's like, we just had bugs all the time. And that's what it was. But we were in
Talking about
love.
bugs, I'm all
I know.
itchy. Get all itchy.
We had silverfish in our bathroom at the hoarder house.
Gross.
Yeah, they were like on the floor. They just lived there.
Hey, Jay,
Hey, what's up, guys?
what's going on?
I did 38 days in solitary confinement back in 20, you.
When was this?
Back in 2019. I got into a fight, and yeah, it doesn't matter who started the fight or anything. Anyways, one thing led to another. I ended up doing a total of 38 days. And in Kentucky, where I did my time, I actually called before. I spoke to you about I stole a bunch of lottery tickets.
Oh, yeah.
This was a couple months ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Jail solitary confinement is completely inhumane, and they really need to do away with it. I mean, it is totally messed up. I mean, in Kentucky, where I was, they don't give you books, nothing. They just have a mat. You don't even get a blanket.
Yeah, I mean, the things that I've been watching recently as this has kind of become more to the forefront of how people are incarcerated, you know, they basically just come up with euphemisms because once people get nervous about solitary confinement, they'll start to call it something else. They'll call it segregated housing or they'll blah, blah, blah. They'll just come up with different names for it. 38 days sounds like an eternity, Jay.
Oh, it was miserable. I mean, well, the thing was, as soon as because I would call my mom every day just to be in contact with the family, while I was in there, and she stopped hearing from me. So she figured something was wrong. And, she was calling up to the jail every day trying to figure out what was going on. And they just wouldn't give her answers. I mean, it was a miserable situation. I mean, and as far as Netflix goes, you don't get Netflix in county jail.
Oh, man.
And, so.
Plus, it costs a lot. It costs a lot to keep somebody in solitary.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
more than it.
In the state of Kentucky, I don't know how it is in Ohio, but each jail gets, I believe it was $2,200 a day from the state to house a correctional inmate in a county jail. So you have to think about how much money that is being thrown into the pockets of these jailers in Kentucky, and that goes throughout the United States in general. So, I mean, it's just one big business.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. All right. Well, you made it out, Jay.
Well, I appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you, pal. There's Jay. 38 days in solitary.
That's so long.
Is it Delana? Is that your name?
Yeah.
What's
Delana,
up?
I forget what number I am on the blacklist.
Oh, okay.
But since you guys were talking about bed bugs, there was some insecticide, I think in the 50s or 70s, that was actually banned. And that's why there is such a huge epidemic of bed bugs, is because the one thing that would work was harmful to humans.
Are you talking about DDT?
So that's why it's something, DDT. It's hard to treat bed bugs down.
Yeah, but DDT,
that was the one thing that did.
DDT was a big one, though. That was kind of like trying to nuke a bunch of ants. But you're right. I mean, when they got rid of DDT, they were kind of like, well, I guess we're just going to deal with bed bugs now,
Yes, we're going to live with bed bugs, yeah.
Well, but also you think that they would have come up with something since, DDT, because you're right. It was the 50s where they were like, oh, this works against bed bugs. But then it was just awful for so many other reasons that they got rid of it. But, they're hard to get rid of, Delana. You're right.
Yes. But
that's why.
I hope you guys have a great evening.
Thank you. That's why San Francisco has such a huge problem, because they have California has really stringent pesticide laws. And so San Francisco is just getting overrun with bed bugs.
Isn't DDT a wrestling move?
Yes.
Who did that?
Diamond. Well, he did
Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas Page did the Diamond Cutter. Who did the DDT? I can't remember who started it.
I thought it was.
But it was it's kind of like a regular move at this point, or even back in the Attitude Era.
Jake Roberts.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he might have been the one that popularized it, but then it became a pretty standard move for every guy to use.
Yeah. That's the one where you hold them upside down and drop them on their head, right?
No, that's a pile driver.
What the hell's a DDT?
DDT's you put their head under your arm, so you're facing this way.
Uh-huh.
You want me to just do it to you?
No, I do not.
Okay.
But and then you drop them on
Yeah,
their head.
they said it was credited to Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah.
DDT.
I remember because wrestling was obviously big in the 90s, and my brothers and I would always wrestle around, and they would just shout out pile driver, DDT, and then throw you on the couch.
Pile driver!
Yeah.
Crunch.
And they yell out DDT, and then they spray you with harmful chemicals.
Yeah, right. My eyes!
Hey, at least you won't get malaria. Hey, Rick in Nashville.
Hey, Alan, how you doing?
What up?
Hate the show.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, love you too. Hey, as far as building maintenance goes, Bill's got to know this, that if anybody in his building has bed bugs and it's identified by a service, they do the compass treatment. They go above, they go below, they go next door, and they go across the hall. And all those people have to be treated. And if you do it again, as far as reporting it, the company can that's a lease violation if you don't report it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We get alerts. I've never been on the side of the building where we had to do it. And when we had bed bugs, they treated everybody around us too. So it was.
Yeah. That's a given by any company now. And it's pretty much a law.
Yeah.
Only because of the infestation that can happen. And believe me, I've seen it over the years of my business. So it could be real bad real quick.
Rick, you would recommend against Bill using his flamethrower.
I mean, it
As long
works.
as it's contained, in the heat box.
Yeah, right. Up there on the 9th floor or whatever, it's up in his penthouse apartment.
Yeah, they actually use superheat
Yeah.
for the infestation. They pick up the mattresses, they vent everything, and then they just torch the place.
Right. You got to torch it to get rid of him.
Yeah, and it's like an 8-hour process, and the tenant usually can't get back in there for 12 hours.
Right. Nor would they want to.
Once you get back in there, you got a lot of cleaning to do.
I was gonna say, where do the bugs go? Are they just like laying all around and just dead, and you got to like sweep them up?
Yep. And they'll tell you before the heat treatment is that you have to bag your clothes, every single piece of clothing, get them to a laundromat, and put them in superheat dryers.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Well,
trust me.
I was lucky
And I've had
because when it happened to us, there wasn't an infestation. Or like when it happened to me.
That's good. They caught it early.
I caught it I think it was the night that I think I went to Mary's house and I came over, and then I came home and I noticed one in the morning and immediately called them and got it taken care of before there was any infestation.
Jeez, Mary, always causing trouble.
Nothing I can do.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate the call. Bill up there with his flamethrower and you on the 9th floor? 10th floor? 12th floor?
I'm
Where
on the
you
9th floor.
All right.
Floor.
Penthouse?
They,
Apartment?
Not penthouse, because I think the penthouse is the top floor, right?
You're not on the top floor.
I'm one down. One down. But
You're
I
in
got the lake view.
Do you call it the sub penthouse?
I just call it
You should.
Squifle Tower.
Oh,
And I got the lake view. And
I'm in the
that's
penthouse
nice.
basement.
I see that.
When the
That's good.
bedbug guys came to do my apartment, he's right. You have to bag everything that you own. Any type of clothing, you run through the dryer, put it in garbage bags. Then they said to put all those bags into the bathroom because bedbugs don't generally live in
They
bathrooms.
like to go to the bathroom? Oh.
Well, they don't live there because there's nothing for them to live in other than like the walls. They live in mattresses and stuff like that. And when I cleaned out my closet and put everything into bags, I had an envelope with the cash to give to the bedbug guy in my closet, and then put all the bags from my closet into the bathroom. So then after he was there, I had to reopen every bag from the bathroom because the money was somewhere in one of those bags. It was an absolute disaster of a situation.
Alan, my first night in my new apartment in Phoenix, I opened the door and flipped on the lights and watched cockroaches running everywhere. Slept elsewhere and got my deposit back the next day.
Oh,
yeah, well,
man.
it's hot. Hey, Bill.
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Hey, my mother loved telling this story. Maybe you heard about the guy who back in the day became addicted to DDT. His fly died.
His what?
I died.
His fly died.
His fly? What? He got addicted to DDT. His fly died? What am I missing?
Right.
Bill?
Think about
Either
it.
Bill can help me out here. What? He got addicted to
Hey, Bill.
DDT and his fly died. All
I
right.
don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know if he's talking about like the fly of his pants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go
Thank
listen
you,
to
Bill.
yourself,
Yeah.
You don't want to miss that one.
You know, I hate to miss an opportunity for a good larf.
When-
But that one went over my head.
Now that we have been talking about like bed bugs and how every time I have like a mosquito bite or any type of scratch, I'm gonna think like, oh, did I get something when I was on vacation? Like, I don't understand how you guys travel and then not think like. I mean, I know, Mary, you said you go to every hotel and lift up the mattress.
Oh,
to see.
every single one. Before you do anything, you put your luggage in the bathroom, and then you lift up the mattresses and look under the pillows.
See, I've
and
lived a privileged life because I've never done that, so I guess I'm setting myself up.
You
I
don't,
know.
you
You
don't
gotta do it
check
at
underneath
any-
every
the...
single
every
one.
single
It doesn't
hotel.
matter
Doesn't matter
how
if it's
nice
nice,
the
yeah.
hotel is. Like they can still have bed bugs.
I've never done it.
All right, well, you always check under your mattress. Poundcake. Flip that up there and see what's going on there. All right, I got to take a break here. I will have those Gilmore Project passes for you. Bunch of dudes who are going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon. And Gilmore Project playing Pink Floyd.